we're going to learn how to convert moles to atoms and atoms to moles. First problem reads, how many atoms are in 8 moles of atoms? So the first thing we need to do is find out how many atoms there are per mole. So by definition, there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms for every 1 mole. So there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms per mole. Now we need to find out how many atoms there are in 8 moles of atoms. So we start off with what we have. We have 8 moles. We need to multiply that by what we want on top over what we want to cancel on bottom. Since we want atoms, we put that on top. And we want to cancel moles, so we put moles on bottom. Now from what we have up here, you can see that we have 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms for every 1 mole. So every 1 mole gives us 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. Now next step is you just multiply 8 moles by the 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. Put that in the calculator. And that will give you an answer of 4.816 times 10 to the 24th, or simplified to 4.82 times 10 to the 24th atoms. And that's your answer. Next problem, same as before. How many atoms are in 27 moles of atoms? So just like the last problem, we need to find out how many atoms there are for every mole. So there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms for every 1 mole. Now we have 27 moles. So you do 27 moles multiplied by what we want on top and what we want to cancel on bottom. So there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms for every 1 mole. Now, you multiply 27 moles by the 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. And that gives you an answer of 1.6254 times 10 to the 25, or 1.63 times 10 to the 25th atoms. And that's your answer. Now for this next problem, we want to find out how many moles we have. We are given atoms. So we need to find how many moles is 8.24 times 10 to the 24th phosphorus atoms. Now we don't really need to be concerned that it's like phosphorus atom or whatever atom it is. That's information we don't really need. What we need though is the information from the last 2 problems, which is 1 atom, or 1 mole, is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. So, start with what we have. We have 8.24 times 10 to the 24th atoms. What do we want? We want moles, so we put that on top. We want to cancel the atoms, so we put the atoms on bottom. There are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms for every 1 mole. Now you multiply that through, atoms cancel, and you get the answer 8.24 times 10 to the 24th divided by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. That gives you an answer of 1.3687 or 1.37 times 1047 moles. That's your answer. Let's try another one. How many moles is 25.6 times 10 to the 24th chlorine atoms? Now we don't need to be concerned that it's chlorine, as I stated previously. We need to find moles. So first, start with what we have. We have 25.6 times 10 to the 24th chlorine atoms. We want moles. So remember, what we want we put on top. And what we want to cancel, atoms, we put on bottom. Remember, there are, for every 1 mole, there is 6.02 times 10 23rd atoms. Now you multiply 25.6 times 10 to the 24th to 1 mole. The atoms will cancel, and then you have to divide 25.6 times 10 to the 24th by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Plug that in. 25.6 times 10 to the 24th divided by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd gives you an answer of 4.25 times 10 to the 47 moles. And that's your answer. Now, this next problem is a little different. We need to find how many molecules there are in 1.87 moles of molecules. Now, this may sound confusing, but it's actually pretty straightforward and simple. Again, we need to know the information of how many atoms there are per mole, which you should be pretty familiar by now. Is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms per mole. For this problem, all you need to do is multiply 1.87 moles, which is what we have here, what we're given. Multiply that by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Gives you an answer of 1.13 times 10 to the 24th molecules. And that's your answer. This next problem, we want to find moles. So the problem reads, how many moles is 6.9 times 10 to the 24th magnesium atoms? Again, we don't care that it's magnesium. All we're concerned about is finding moles. So, first, start with what we have. 6.9 times 10 to the 24th atoms. We need to multiply that in order to get what we want, moles on top, by what we want to cancel on bottom. Again, just like the last problems, we need to know how many atoms per mole. So for every 1 mole, there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. You multiply 6.9 times 10 to the 24th to 1 mole. The atoms will cancel, and you divide 6.9 times 10 to the 24th divided by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. And that gives you an answer of 1.15 times 10 to the 47th moles. That's your answer.